Hello, welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler Adventures as we are making our way around Texas. Right now, we are in Galveston Island taking a look at everything there is to do there. And today we're looking at mansions. Galveston is home to some pretty opulent mansions. They're pretty cool to look at, pretty huge and pretty distinctive. This is Moody Mansion, made in a Romanesque style. I guess the arches make it Romanesque. Once inside, you can see a card collection of the Moody's. The Moody's owned the mansion before it got turned over to the state, but before that, it was owned. It was built by Narcissa Willems, I think, and she has the distinction of being rich, living in Galveston, and tearing down her old home after her husband died to build the mansion. She did this against her husband's wishes, and her children never visited her because they were pissed that she had built a mansion with her husband's money. So that was a failure. She ended up dying, and eventually the Moody's, who lived in the area, a lawyer family, a entrepreneur family in the cotton business, decided to buy it and make it their home. And that's what ended up getting the mansion its name, Moody Mansion. The Moody's were rich. They were involved in all types of political, social, and cultural activities. They were one of those robber baron families, I think, but in Texas. Their wealth was extraordinary. You can see a lot of it in the little displays that they have there at the Moody Mansion. It's a pretty interesting place to visit just to see how rich people used to live back at the turn of the century. It's a pretty different type of rich than you see today. The rich of today just, I don't know, doesn't hold a candle to the rich of the past, if you ask me. We can walk around the mansion, see a couple of the rooms. There's a mirror, canopy beds, bay windows, blinds, fireplaces, ornate light fixtures, a toilet that had to be closed so that people wouldn't use it, bathtubs. I mean, rich really lived like rich people back then. And we have this awesome stained glass mural that would be awesome to look at every single day as you wake up and roam around your mansion in your murder robe. It was one of my favorite highlights from visiting the mansion. The stairs are also pretty nifty to look at, just looking at all the architecture and all the woodwork. Our next stop is Ashton Villa. It used to be the visitor center, but now it closed down, and now it's a event center where you can rent out for weddings and conferences and pictures and photography and all that stuff. Just kind of sad. I liked the way it was before as a visitor center. It had some pretty interesting Galveston history stuff. But right next to it is the Juneteenth proclamation marker. Of course, Juneteenth is June 19th, when they finally got to Texas to proclaim that all slaves were free. It didn't get to Texas until June 19th, so slavery continued in Texas until a couple months after it was finally abolished. So we celebrate that. And behind the marker is a cool little plaza that you can go and stroll through. After that, we stop at the Bishop's Palace, which is just down the road. This ornate Victorian mansion was made by a family. After they died, the Catholic diocese bought the place because they had their church right across the street from it, and that's where the bishop used to live for a while. This bishop obviously lived in opulence, owned everything. Look at that mansion. It's got towers and turrets and windows and balconies. I wish I lived there. Everything in this house is ornate and top-notch. There's not one single thing that is boring. Maybe those hinges are boring, but everything around the mansion is expertly planned and constructed to show off wealth. I mean, look at that chandelier and woodwork everywhere. It's not just a white plane, it's not just stucco, it's not just boring stuff. The inside, the grand staircase winds up to a dome at the very top. There's stained glass everywhere. Just imagine living here back then and having dinner by myself at this table, because it'd be awesome. And I'd have a guest there sitting across me, and I'd ask if they wanted some tea. And this is probably my favorite room. I love little garden sun rooms. There's a view from the second or third floor, I forget which one. As you can see, like, everything is way overly designed and constructed. And this was a bishop's palace. The bishop did live there, so as a result, the place does have its own little chapel. This used to be one of the girls' bedrooms, but the bishop turned it into his own little private chapel. I guess he held services there whenever he didn't want to wake up or walk down the street. Rich people, I tell you. This is just a regular room, and it's got a nice mirror because rich people were obsessed with mirrors. Nice little balcony, which I would have loved. And once you finally leave, you can post your little sticker along with everybody else on the archway. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this visit at some mansions and seeing the opulence that people used to live in back then. Rich people, take some tips. Anyways, I'm glad you're here. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.